expeditions. It was only in 2005 that Nicholas Norman and his team dared the first south-north crossing on skis and kites. Had kites been perfected in Nansen's day, there's no question that he would have used them.
Yeah, we're heading Mount Hagen for some backcountry kite skiing.
I had trained and developed my kite skiing skills in the glorious Montana backcountry. Kite skiing in itself isn't that difficult. You need snow, open terrain, and wind. The three don't always line up, but changing conditions is what you train for.
So you're out there and you decided, man, this 45 has turned to 50. Here's the idea. Move the kite closer to you.
This landscape is absolutely remarkable in Montana. Unfortunately, we're still chasing wind. We haven't been very lucky. So we're driving around a lot and trying to find the proper places to launch our kites.
It's a sport where you make fast friends that share the same passion, like this crew of misfits.
We're here, Georgetown Lake, Montana. The ice is thin. When you go out, it's thicker, just for the heat from the land. So you could get a wet foot. You don't want to start that way.
Means it's gonna be a little gusty.
Good. We got wind now.
We got wind, that's for sure.
Yep, anchor. Have fun. I want to get on 2 years. Got 3.
Montana is always a good time, but I had my sights on Greenland. The plan was simple. Ascend the ice sheet at the southernmost tip near Narsaq and get off it near the northwestern village of Kanak, 2,300 kilometers later, on skis, kites, and without support, over 45 days. But our most ambitious goal? To set a new world record for the longest distance traveled in 24 hours. For that, I partnered with Eric McNair-Landry. Born to a family of polar guides, Eric is an avid kiter, and at 25 is experienced beyond his years.
Hi, I'm Eric.
How are you, buddy?
I'm about to go out kite skiing.
Well, let's go.
Yeah, should be interesting. There's just enough wind.
In choosing a teammate for this trip, I knew that his skills would elevate mine and provide a good counterpoint to my 46 years. I had just crossed the Arctic Sea to reach the North Pole on foot. Between us, we had several trips to Antarctica, and Eric had kited twice on Greenland before. If anyone could do this, I felt confident we were the team for it.
Way today!
Some of the challenges that we'll most likely expect on this trip is kind of two main things. The southern tip of Greenland is renowned for its bad weather. Storms, rain, and just non-cooperative winds, i.e. non-existent, high-pressure systems, winds from the north, a whole variety of things like that. So that's something to expect. And then both on the southern tip and more so on the northern tip, we will enter areas, crevassed areas. So that's a little bit of a danger there.
Exploring in modern terms has a lot more to do with pushing the limits of the human potential than it does with mapping out the world, which at this point has been pretty much mapped out by satellite positioning and such. But nonetheless, when you travel in these regions, and they're so barren, and they've been traveled by so little people over the course of centuries, and you're immersed into the history of polar exploration. So you can't help but think of Nansen and Amundsen and Perry and those great explorers. In some respect, you're echoing the very spirit of it, and you perpetuate this human nature to want to basically venture into the wild and try to find yourself in the process. Kite skiing in desolate and inhospitable environments that are cold and icy presents all kinds of challenges. The wind is your friend, but can also be your enemy if you're not careful. It really has to do with what level of respect you impart on that relationship. But there's a magnificence about these places as well, and a magnificence that generally reveals itself only to people who commit to the effort that it takes to get into them. And then you get a real privileged view of being in this type of environment. Before heading off, I flew up to Eric's hometown of Iqaluit at the edge of the Arctic Circle to refine our equipment and for some time on the ice, or as we call it, shakedown training.